All right, let's talk about this thing, man. So,
Yeah.
so there's been a couple. I noticed something, and Justin and I were talking about it offline before we got on here with you. But there is a plunger now, and that was not at CES. So that's an interesting
Ah,
addition. So let's
yes.
talk about a couple things. I think we want to hear about the plunger, and
Mhm.
then the haptic feedback, the solenoid
Sure.
stuff. Like, there's a bunch of stuff. So tell us
Yeah.
what's up, because this has been since CES. We haven't had a whole lot of information here.
Sure. So yeah, that's the latest edition. It's a digital plunger, so it'll be able to check different degrees of,
Oh,
I
that's
guess,
cool.
pull
Yeah.
Okay.
if the game allows for it, right? And then of
Mm-hmm.
course the haptic feedback. I think we have 3 or 4 solenoids to recreate. The ball moving around and the
So,
flippers.
do you know where you put it?
Yeah, I think it's one's left and right and one's top middle. So
Okay.
for
Okay.
and so that gives it probably enough to recreate it. Again, the accelerometer to detect tilt,
Mm-hmm.
and you can actually tilt it and move the ball a little bit to a certain extent, right? And then
Oh,
also,
that's cool. Yeah. So
yep,
you're giving them the illusion like they can actually tilt the machine like you would a physical machine. That's pretty cool. Or
correct,
nudge it.
right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Correct, and also the DMD screen. Although we have it advertised at 7, it may be 8. We're still looking into that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and then again, 10 games in this. So here's the one thing I really need to point out, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've been working with Zen Studios for about a year, and Zen Studios, gosh, an amazing company who knows their stuff, and their engineers, their programmers are really working with the software and our hardware to make their games optimized for this, right? To make sure that all of the haptic feedback is tuned. And so I guess what I'm saying is you can't just get a DIY cabinet and think you can stream or put illegal games on there and think it will correctly. It's not that simple. If you know, I mean, in order to even just have the vertical play field and have the dual screen functionality, as well as just tuning everything. We're spending a lot of time, making sure this works correctly, and that's why we legitimately go to our partners and work in conjunction with them and get the correct licenses. So we make sure that your user experience is the best experience that you can possibly have. So don't think that you can just go and get any DIY cabinet and you think you can run Zen pinball games, because it's not going to happen. I'll guarantee you it's not going to happen. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and
Right.
Zen
This
Studios
wasn't
accounts
this
for
wasn't
90.
a plug and play that you just called up Zen and said, "Let me take your ROM and hey, we got a board that can run Android," and slap it in and it just works magically, right? Um,
Exactly.
So
yeah,
I
it's a
can
really good
attest
point.
to
Again,
this.
another theme being built. We've gone over NBA Jam, introducing new technology with Wi-Fi online capabilities, right? And
Yep.
then you jump to this pinball. It's not you work with Zen, and then you're building something new, and you're creating new technologies to working with that company, and I think that's fantastic.
And we did so John, we did it was last Saturday or last Sunday, we did an episode on virtual pinball. And a
Mm.
product that I talked about was this thing called the Sharpen. And it's kind
Mm.
of like this tabletop pinball. It's not like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
just
like
kind
it.
of
I
like
see it.
something. Yeah, it's cool, but it runs on Zen just stock, right? The stuff.
Right.
So the thing that I'm really impressed about is that, there's a ton of limitations to the Zen Android app, but you're working with them to say, because by out of the box, Zen does not support a DMD. So you're actually working with them to say,
Right.
hey, can you guys customize it to give me a DMD? Can you guys customize it to work with solenoids? Can you guys customize it to work with the digital plunger? Like, it's not like you guys just went and said, to Justin's point, hey, just load your Android software on our processor. Like, this is actually a lot of work. So, for those that maybe haven't dove into virtual pinball, like, I can tell you firsthand from building a couple myself, they're doing customization work with Zen, and that's really cool. That's what I love about this, is that it's
Yep.
not just some like slap it together thing. This is taking some engineering work and some thought. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm telling you, just the amount of resources and money that we spend on these game development. We're true, basically game developer now, working with legit game developing companies. And so just a quick example, there is pin cap support on Pinball FX3, right? And so if you had a Pinball FX3 in some games, you still have to basically email Zen and enable this,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And if you don't have a supported uh, cabinet, Like if you have just some random DIY cabinet with no, licensed games or whatever, don't think you're going to be able to get a code. So,
yeah, and I'm assuming you guys are actually running like it's a modified version of the Zen, because the reason I'm getting a couple like
customized, right?
Yeah, I'm getting some feedback that hey, Zen has a DMD, and it does, but in the Android app it layers it on the playfield. It doesn't put it on a separate screen unless you're running the FX2 stuff and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make sure.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
correct.
Cool.
That's correct. Zen does support DMD, but a lot of these features have to be turned on. Again, if you don't have basically these codes, you're not going to be able to have DMD or vertical monitor orientation support and all this other things. So just, I know there's been spreadsheets out there that say this and that, but you got to be wary of vaporware or whatever that is, and know that it's not as simple as what you think. So
a lot of people are wondering, we've already announced Star Wars and Attack from Mars. Is that going to push back? This was a super chat earlier. Is that going to push back any of the dates?
Nope. All of them will be released at the same time.
Okay.
This fall. I'd say late August, September-ish, around that time frame. Shipping. Okay. So yeah, they're all three are going to be released at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Is there any more information about, like, I think I remember at CES you guys were shooting for, that
$499?
Well, that's not the number you were saying back then. You were kind of saying more like in the 600, right?
Well, people will kill us if this is 600. We're trying our best. Again, I can't quote it. Again, retail prices are retail prices, and we sell to them at one, at one price point. But we're hoping to get this at sub 500.
Wow.
Who's this music for?
I think it's for John D. He deserves something special.
All right, let's get him. Here he is. He's live.
Let's talk about John D. Has he lost his mind?